mic? Yeah. Okay, so this is Tony Hawk's Underground, playing on the PC. A few things to note about this game is it has a few weird tricks like that. That one's called a butt slap. It basically lets you jump multiple times through one trick animation. And we use that multiple times throughout the run. It's a bit of a stupid bug in the game. And it transfers over to other Tony Hawk games after this as well. They just didn't patch it. I guess because it was part of the culture by then as well, on the online community. I guess I'm good to go. Oh, and another thing. I've binded every trick to the same trick, and that just eliminates some of the RNG in the run. In the goals where you have to do a list of tricks, it'll just show the one trick, and you only have to do it once to complete the goal. I guess we're good to go. I'll give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so we start off in New Jersey, talking to Eric, our best friend, and we just have to do a bunch of tutorial missions, just like a lot of other speedruns. Pretty uninteresting stuff, but there are some pretty weird tricks in this level as well towards the end. I get that. We get didn't finish. Oh, I didn't get the goal. Okay, we'll do that after. It's all good. We get to grab onto this dog for some reason. And we get to redo this one, just for fun. And this game came out right when Need for Speed Underground was getting popular. So they've added in some ridiculously bad cars that we get to drive.
There's like a car mission in just about every level in this game, and they're all terrible.
Yeah, Activision basically told Neversoft that the vehicles are good, so we need them in every level. And then they expanded on that in Tony Hawk's Underground 2, and they're like, we need a unique vehicle in each level, which is pretty great. He's coming to town.
What Kane just did there is a 180 boneless judo. That's a trick or like a little combo that's going to be used heaps in the run. It gets a lot of points, and it also fills up your special meter. And so for any missions where you have to get a certain amount of points, you're going to use that and then use a special manual. And that gets you around 15,000 points. And that's just about enough to cover most of the missions in the game where you need a certain amount of points. And then this is also what Kane was talking about just there. That's a list of tricks you have to do, but using some like menu manipulation in the game, you're able to actually make every single trick the same one, and the game just looks for you doing that trick. It doesn't actually like make sure you're doing the right inputs. It just sees that you've done the trick, and then it applies it to all of the tricks in that list, so you do the entire list in one trick. Also, another cool trick there is you go into the car in a mission where you don't have your board. You go into the car, you restart the mission, and the game just decides to give you your board.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You okay? And also the dealers can't see you either for some reason. They can't detect you. You're supposed to hide from them. And I've missed that as well.
You'll see the butt slap used effectively here, hopefully. It's a little bit tough to do coming up here. Oh. If you do it properly, there you go. You're able to jump up. Oh, not quite. but you're basically able to float across to that thing there, and it makes it a lot easier. Here's bridge skip. The way the game works with skitching, which is where you like grab onto the back of a car, then you grind twice, you get like a ridiculous amount of speed, and so you're able to clear that gap. Usually, like if you're doing it casually, you have to skitch that car all the way around the whole level, but instead you skitch for a little bit, you do 2 grinds, and you have like the max speed you need, and you're able to get over there, also with a butt slap to get some extra height.
This goal has a very ridiculous skip. It's about 2 frames, and you basically just have to let go of the ollie button off of this car at a certain point, and it skips a bit over 20 seconds. Didn't get it there, but it just ends the level there, and you go straight to the next one. Skips this whole driving segment.
It's about a 3-frame window. We always thought it was 2 frames, but then I think Packle, who is the previous world record holder, he did a task of this game and found that it's actually 3 frames you get to do that trick. And it just skips this whole driving section and gets you straight to the end of the level, going on to Manhattan.
Manhattan's a pretty straightforward level. Some pretty short goals usually. Probably one of the easier levels in the game. Whoop. Apparently not. The easiest goal in the game.
There's a category for this game. Kane's currently running any % beginner, which is the most run category, but there's also any % normal, any % sick, and then there's also any % no warp for all the difficulties. And no warp basically just means you can't go into the menu and select which goal you want to do. You have to actually go and find that person in the level and talk to them to start the mission. Here's another example of the boneless 180 judos. Gets you about 4,200 points, and that's enough to do all of these small point missions.
Yeah, especially on beginner when all the scores are so low.
Last but not
Yeah, I know. If you change the scale of your character to smaller than it wants to be in the cutscenes, it'll just shrink or grow. It's just strange. I think it has a default height during the cutscenes at all times. Grab some nuts for the security guards. It's a great mission. And you can see sometimes in this mission there will be cars in the way where you need to go, and we can grab those for some extra speed. And there's also a bit of a bug with grinding as well, doing that. And it'll basically just give you a massive speed boost while grinding from skitching.
It's the same as in the bridge skip, where you grab onto the back of the car and you're able to grind a few times and you get a ridiculous amount of speed, but unfortunately the cycles of the cars didn't work out too well for you there. Coming up is another example of why Catbag, which is the creator trick broken ass game, basically where we've mapped every trick to the same button. There's like 3 benefits to that. One is you're able to eliminate any RNG from the trick lists. So you do one trick and it applies for all. You're going to see that here. One trick over the car and the mission's done. Another is you can name a trick. So you use the creator trick feature in this game. You name the trick whatever you want it to be. So in that example, it's Nutbuster. And instead of having to get special to do a special trick, Nutbuster, you can just do a creator trick called a Nutbuster, and then it'll also count. And then the third is it makes butt slapping a lot easier. So usually when you do a butt slap with like just a normal trick like a kickflip, you're generally going to get 2 extra ollies. But if you use a creator trick, because the animation's faster, you can generally get you can get 3 a lot easier, which makes jumps ridiculously easier.
understand. So now we're going into Tampa. It's probably the most boring level out of all of them because we have about 3 minutes at the end where it's just a contest and you have to wait out the 3 minutes.
Everyone is currently looking for some sort of way to skip Tampa because it's about 3 minutes of auto scroller where you can't do anything. And there is a bounty set by the Tony Hawk community. So if anyone's able to find something that is able to skip that 3 minutes of auto scroller, you will get $150. So.
Yeah, now we're coming up to another great driving mission in a police car. And there's lots of other police cars around that pull out in front of you. And that's also a great mission. Sometimes there's cars in this section as well, like that red van there that you can grab, and that skips a bit of this.
Yeah, if you're able to get like those sort of missions optimally, there are usually cars there that you're able to skitch and again get the extra speed boost. So generally doing the level and missions beforehand optimally will get you that, but unfortunately wasn't able to.
Like this gap. Oh. It's always fun.
Again, this is another trick list mission, so just spam this trick 3 times and you're done. Oh. There we go. This game on beginner difficulty is ridiculously easy, like some of the missions. All you had to do there was a wall plant and it counts. That's the wrong mission. The game doesn't really get too difficult until like the last couple of levels. But I guess that's what happens when you play on beginner difficulty. There are a lot of cool speed strats in this game though, so it's not actually that easy.
They're going fast.
Dude, that's Tony Hawk. You got to impress him, dude.
I gotta impress him.
So yeah, this is one of those examples of an auto scroller. It's 1 minute counting down. It's actually a bit more than a minute. The game doesn't count perfect seconds, so it works out to be like, I think every minute's like 1 minute and 4 seconds or something like that. Yeah, so basically you just have to beat his score by the end of the minute. So you can just sort of mess around in the level for a bit. It's a nice minute to just chill out. There's going to be 2 more minutes in another mission and then 1 more minute in a third mission where you just can't do anything. So there's Kane showing off how broken butt slapping is in this game, where you're just able to get some ridiculous height. It's going to go for a boost plant. Oh, not quite. There's a lot of really cool tricks in the Tony Hawk engine. Oh, not quite. This is called a boost plant. It's not it's not useful in the speedrun at all, but it's just really cool to do. There you go. Oh. You're able to get some ridiculous height when you do that well. Oh.
Now we go into some contests where we just do a manual special end the run, not even finishing the combo, and that'll just get us the points we need to medal.
Yeah, those missions are meant to be like you do a big combo and then you end the run and the game will give you a score or whatever. But if you end the combo while you're doing a special trick, the game will just, for some reason, think that you completed that combo and it'll give you the points for it. Here's another 2-minute auto scroller, so just going to be chilling out, doing some sick tricks. Are there any like donations or anything we can read out? a lot of runners will use this sort of like 2 minutes to build up their stats. So the way stats work in this game is when you do like a certain amount of tricks or something, your stat in that trick will increase. So if you do like a grind for 3 seconds, you'll increase your grind stat, which makes it just easier to balance grinds. Like lip there, from doing lip tricks. Usually like the stats that are important are like the speed stat, but you get that from doing like combos, and we've already done the amount of combos that we need up to this point to get good speed stats. Always get the secret tape.
Yeah, we can just mess around here really, because the points aren't a challenge at all. Go anywhere in the map you want really during these missions as well. So it's not too boring. It's not like you're locked in the one area. Another one for another minute until the end of the level. Says some strange things when you get eaten by the alligator here. I guess it just says gum to death. I thought it said more. Now we go to San Diego, which is not too difficult of a level. Has some weird goals in it though as well, like all the levels do, but yeah. What? Boneless.
A cool byproduct of... Oh, that's another boneless. A cool byproduct of cat bag here is because every trick's named the same thing. It just says temp in the top right corner instead of like the name of a trick. This is another one of those trick list missions, but instead you have to do them while this spine transfer's in the combo. So you just basically do that spine transfer, do the trick, and just chill. There's a cool trick here you can get if you finish the... so the counter stops at like 35, or like you can stop the mission at about 35, and... Oh, not quite. You stop the mission at a certain time and jump at the right time, and it's I think it's frame perfect. Might be 2 frame or something. And you're basically able to skip that cutscene and you end up spawning right next to that mission rather than back where you did. This wall plant mission's quite interesting. The first wall plant he had to do, he basically did the wall plant and then restarted the mission, and the game still counted it. And then you're able to do one wall plant, and if you keep your combo the whole time, and then just skate next to where the those green things are, you don't actually have to do the wall plant. You can just ride next to them, and it'll count for some reason.
Here we use the butt slaps so we don't have to climb all the way back up this building again. We can just turn around like this. back up. It was a bit close there. Now we get the vehicle mission. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's unfortunate the game was made where the vehicle missions are basically like compulsory missions you have to do at the end of each chapter. It's rare that you get to skip one or that it's like an option, because with the game, with the way like the game's story works, is basically every chapter you'll be given like 4 missions maybe. That's sort of the general rule, and you only have to do 3 of them. So you basically choose the 3 that are the fastest. And yeah, unfortunately the car missions are generally not in that selection. They're generally like at the end of chapters and just like compulsory missions that advance the story. This is a cool trick here. You're meant to skitch this car for 30 seconds, but every time you skitch and then stop, the counter goes up 1. And so that ends up being faster. If you just keep doing that, it ends up being faster than 30 seconds. It ends up being more like 16, 15. Oh, no, not 15.
7 seconds or something, doesn't it? Maybe 7.
Yeah, about 7 seconds. You'll see it on the counter. About 6 seconds there, yeah. Another example of the bonus 180 judo to mix it up, gets you a decent amount of points and you're able to finish that mission. That's actually the lowest, or like one of the lowest score missions in the game. It's only 7,500. With the movement in this game, for those who aren't aware, with the Tony Hawk games, you go fastest when you're grinding. So the goal is to be grinding like as much as you can, and yeah, sort of chaining grinds together so you're able to maintain top speed. Here's another example of a trick list mission, and the mission says to like do the grinds on the high bar, but if you do one grind on the high bar to get the gap and then do the rest of the grinds like wherever you want, it'll still count. And so you basically have to hold this combo until 30 seconds. And make sure you do the nose grind. Nah.
Now we go to Hawaii, which is one of the more annoying levels in the game. It has a few strange tricks in it that shouldn't really be a thing, but they work. What am I doing? Ending the goal. Like here we go up onto the roof of the hotel, or sometimes we do. Okay. We go onto the roof of the hotel, and that opens up a door down the bottom because it doesn't think that you should be up there, really, during this segment of the game. So anytime you go to the roof, there's a trigger. There's a trigger that will open that door, but it's intended for the next chapter in the game, in this level.
There was a new sort of route found where basically this was like the fastest way. Yeah, you touch the roof and now you've unlocked a door to it. But there's a new route found which involves like a really crazy butt slap, and it's just not. It's really tough to do.
Playing very terrible.
Here's another driving mission. The hitbox for the car, you have to smash into these pineapple stands. The hitbox of the car is actually on the back, so you sort of like drift into them, do like a little tail whip into them. Here's another example of how terrible this game is, or not terrible, how easy this game is on the beginner difficulty. You basically just grind in a straight line and you're done the mission. Oh, you gotta do the wall plants first, dude. This is the same as the wall plant mission in San Diego, except you basically do the wall plant, stop for a little bit, restart the mission, and then do one more wall plant, and it counts as 3. This game doesn't know how to count. Another great butt slap there to take you up to the roof.
Oh my god. And the next goal is another example of the creator trick, where we do a handstand, kind of, but we're supposed to manual through the whole ditch there. But we just do a handstand in the air and jump at the end, and it'll complete the goal usually. It's a very finicky trick for some reason. That didn't work, even though I got the gap.
Generally, the way most of the missions in this game work... Oh, that's really weird that that's not working. The way most of the missions in this game work is if there's like a thing you have to do, like manual down this wall, it'll basically just like, yeah, there you go. It'll count it when you get the gap that says, you know, off the walls manual. And so there, you're able to abuse that by creating a trick called handstand, and then just grinding to the end, which is a lot faster than manualing. Here's an example of why we do that. We grind up to the roof there. Usually you have to climb up to the roof, but you're able to just go around, go through the door, and you're at the roof there.
Yeah, and here we use the butt slap just to jump across that roof gap. Normally supposed to get special and all of that and make the gap, but we can do that. And another trick coming up is this here, where instead of jumping over the helicopter and doing a real McTwist, we can just jump off over here and it will complete the goal with no slow motion.
Yeah, again, it's just another example of doing McTwist, a trick called McTwist. It's not a real McTwist, trick called McTwist. You get the gap, Holy Hotel, Hopper, or whatever. And yeah, as you said, you're able to jump to the side and you completely skip the slow motion, usually in that mission.
Vancouver is a weird level because they basically just give you the same goals that were in Manhattan, just really boring following goals. Like more tutorials, but it's near the end of the game. It's very strange.
This skater's actually a magician. You'll see at the end of this run, he's going to disappear. There he goes. Beautiful.
Here we also use cat bag just to do these manual tricks a bit quicker. Except it's a bit annoying getting it in the one ollie. You have to do pretty fast inputs.
Again, like this mission's just the exact same as the last mission, except it's a different line you skate along. It's pretty simple stuff. Like the harder difficulties, like you do them in like a combo, or you might like get a different line that's a lot harder. But in the beginner difficulties, you basically just skate in a straight line and do some grinds.
Wow. I didn't think that was gonna work. That green icon thing was still on the screen.
Basically, like, yeah, as soon as you touch that item, you're able to, like, click start and click view goals. But you don't want to do it too early. Luckily there, even though it said, like, the thing was still there on the screen, you could still see the little green fist. It still counted that you got it, and you're able to move on to the next. Can you get blue goal? Hey, nice. That's like a little hockey rink, and there's, like, a hockey puck there, and you can move it around and bounce it into like the goals and stuff like that. And so with the car you push it in. It's always something fun to go for. Slam City Jam's got 2 of those competition goals again. So basically just, they're a little bit harder. You have to do a little bit more with them. And the NPCs, or like the other characters that are apparently there, can get like much better scores this time. So you need to actually like make sure you're getting a decent score. So you'll see he'll do, yeah, there it is, an Indy 900, which is like a really high scoring special trick. Ending the goal midway through, even though you'd never land it, it still counts, and you're able to get 3rd place in the mission, which is all you need. Same thing there. Really good inputs though to be able to do the Indy 900 mid-air, which is quite tough.
Now we have another kind of auto-scrolly thing, but with some objects that we have to hit first. And then it goes back into Vancouver for a very quick mission before going to the last level, Moscow.
This is just another example of this difficulty being an absolute joke. You just do one bind transfer and that's the end of the mission. It's really simple stuff. If you get hit by the bus there, you sort of die and get spawned further along, so it's actually a little bit quicker to sit there, get killed by the bus, and then push forward. So this is Moscow. This is the 2nd last level in the game, or like the last new level we'll see in the game. You go back to New Jersey a little bit later, which is the 1st level. And this is where the missions sort of get a little bit more difficult. They're still not that tough, but for the beginning difficulty, it's actually a little bit tough.
There is some pretty interesting goals in this level as well that require you to do some butt slaps and things like that. So it's a pretty enjoyable level.
As I said earlier, like the game doesn't know how to count, and there's a mission coming up where you're basically meant to do 360 spins over, like do a spine transfer and do 360 spins, and the game doesn't know how to count the 360 spins, so we'll get to see that in a bit. Shout outs to Ace, by the way, for explaining that terrifically in SGDQ last year and getting a lot of flack for it. There's a really cool butt slap there which saves climbing up the ladder, saves a little bit of time. This mission here, you're meant to do like a 35,000 point combo at a certain area, but if you just do the 35,000 point combo there, it'll count for some reason.
I need to do more, apparently.
Haven't really talked about the game's story, but basically that's Eric Sparrow. He is just a real bad egg. He's meant to be your friend, but then he dogs you at every turn. And so basically after this mission in the story, he hijacks a tank, you get inside, he traps you inside and then blames it on you. And yeah, you get sent to prison. You have to do these missions to get out of Russia and get back home.
KGB agents. It's like Metal Gear Solid or something, I think. It's pretty good. There's stealth missions even. There's a stealth mission.
So here it is here. If you do a butt slap 720, or 2 butt slap 720s, or I actually forget what it is.
720, 540. You do a 720, a 540, and then 2 360s, and it'll count all 10 spins.
So yeah, for those counting at home, that adds up to what, 4.5? So only 4.5 360 spins and it counts as 10 for some reason. So not too sure how that works. I think it has something to do with the butt slap though. implemented into it. This is another absolutely boring driving mission, and it really sucks that it's towards the end of the game. You just have to drive around the level a bit, pick up girls, take them back to... It's meant to be a party, but it's like right in the middle of the Kremlin, so this guy must be like a government agent or something, throwing a party in the middle of a government building. If you're interested in picking up this or any of the other Tony Hawk games, I definitely recommend it. If you head over to speedrun.com, look up Tony Hawk, you'll be able to find a link to the Tony Hawk Pro Skater Discord, and there you're able to talk to runners or find guides or just ask questions or whatever. Really recommend getting into these games because they are a lot of fun, and really you can just get some really cool movement going. Especially this game, there's a lot of just skating around, and you're able to really chain some cool combos together there.
Yeah, the Tony Hawk games are very good speedruns, I think, coming from a Tony Hawk speedrun, I guess, but they allow for so much creativity as well as just being fast. Like, you can play in a lot of different styles, not so much with Thug because of the cat bag stuff, but the other games you can put a lot of your own touches on some of the lines and stuff. This is a stealth mission, by the way. Oop. As you can tell by the night vision. Here's another cat bag trick here. That just finishes that goal straight away. And then we get to go into the pro goals, which we get some pros to help us with our conquest or whatever it is.
Just another example of difficulty there. That's combo the whole city, and you basically just skate, grind in a straight line. Here's another nail the trick. Oh, yeah, no, that's some really good RNG. Basically, this last goal, it has lip tricks as well as grab and flip tricks, and he just got some seriously good RNG by having that whole list be one trick. And again, you do one trick and it counts for all of them. There's a weird thing with Tony Hawk's Underground and Tony Hawk's Underground 2 where you basically just have to use the keyboard. Doesn't matter if you're using a controller or not, you still have to use the keyboard for some inputs, which is really annoying because it means you have to let go of the controller, type or whatever.
I think on Thug 2 I bound the Ollie button to enter as well, so I could just skip through that stuff. Oh really? Ooh, that's the wrong goal. Yeah, that works really well. You need to use an external program for that though, and it's a bit annoying.
This goal is infamously annoying. You have to do a certain amount of points, and it'll basically remove some of the features of the game. So this one you can't do reverts, spine transfers, or walk. And this last one's really difficult. You have to do 2,000 points without manuals, and so you can really easily screw that up. And if you miss that, gone to the wrong mission again. If you miss, if you fail that last one, you go all the way back to the beginning. So you have to do all 4 again.
Yeah, they're basically just trying to emulate the other older Tony Hawk games of that mission as a throwback, but it's just a bit annoying. Oh, wow. I keep mashing the button. That's a cool trick. I like that trick. Don't normally get that one. Okay. Some of these pros have weird grab tricks, and they have really long animations, and it's just really annoying sometimes.
you can go in and like change, because you have to play as a different pro for each of these missions. So you can go in and change their tricks, but it's really tedious and annoying to, you know, like go in and change what they're doing, like change their inputs and things like that.
Coming up, you can explain it.
Oh yeah, this is video skip. It's a frame perfect trick, but yeah, there we go, you got it. So basically there, you have to click X and start at the same time, or like the ollie button and the pause button at the exact same time. And it lets you access the menu and change to this goal without going through this like 15, 20 second video. And yeah, so it says 15 to 20 seconds. It's frame perfect. It used to be like really random, like we didn't know how it worked, but then a guy called Big Law found a setup for it, which makes it really consistent and a lot easier. And yeah, this is the final mission of the game. Basically, just skate through the city. There's Eric throws some fireballs at you, I guess, and if you skate into them, you fall over. But yeah, again, it's just you're skating in a straight line. It's not that difficult.
And we can get ahead of him here. Get ahead of him on his own line. Yeah.
So time's coming up. So yeah, that's the end. That was Tony Hawk's Underground.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I'd like to give a shout out to Matt Galloway, Joe McGee, and Quan Pillsbury Finch, the SBS, and Fat Sweat's new single coming out soon. Thanks for watching. This is a McTwist we never did.